Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and today we are going to talk about the changes that we are going to have on the 0.5 and also the buffs that we are getting on the next reset. If you are on an A, it's possible that it's already the up as you go into this video. And as always, do remember to like, subscribe, and check out the super sheet where we have a lot of things. I'm going to be filling this one more over these days as we go. Now, for the buff itself, if you didn't know, it's 3% for Sublety, 4% for Assassination, and 4% for Outlaw on everything. And on the screen here, you have some changes that are going to come on the 0.5 patch. For some reason, they decided to kill the Airborne Irritant and then just make it work, but on the next patch. Not now. Why now? And then Assassination got a new thingy, and Cloud Cover has been changed. Now instead of doing some phase things, when you pop blades, it's going to have some effect. It's nothing crazy, just a little bit more bursty, but you are losing 10% crit on all your finishers in dance because you are using secret technique inside of dance. So it's kind of not likely to be buff, but maybe, who knows. Now let's go into another important thing. Will this 3% buff help us go up? So, as you know, arms also got a little bit of a nerf and then a buff. It's a little bit more complicated for them because they were doing kind of good in the paladins fight because of the way their clip works, but on the other fights were kind of not that good. And this is the overall. As you can see, Rogue is quite here, down here. Of course, people are saying that we still don't have corset and we still don't have good trinkets, etc., etc. But that's the same for most specs, even then. Now let's look at the bosses a little bit more thingy. So in Imperator of the Serbian, we can snipe quite a bit of ads and do decent. So Sublety, it's over here. Outlaw, same here, he can cleave quite a bit. Assassination, it's very likely that it could be also here in the middle, but the problem is that a lot of people that are playing Rogue are just playing Sublety because it does more damage, so you will see more people playing on that. Now Boresius is mostly single target, so you see here Assassination actually creeping up because a lot of people like to play Assassination for single target, also because a lot of Sublety Rogues, it's likely that they don't have the forset or the good trinkets, and also are not playing Deathstalker that does a little bit more single target. And maybe also you can't snipe the ads as easily because the best strat kind of you put all the ads in the middle, AoE them down, and then knock them to the sides. But not everyone does that. So Solidity can't kind of snipe them with secret technique and other things, and will do less damage on that boss. Now, Sahar, same thing. Assassination is also doing kinda decent. They do good boss damage and can also get some bleed energy and things from the void thingies. They can also just stay on boss if their ranged are decent enough. And Solidity, same thing. Very likely that not a lot of people are playing Deathstalker and also maybe are lacking the tier set and other things. So we're kind of in the same. Outlaw and Sovereignty would be kind of the same part of the course. Now on the dragons are very interesting for Sovereignty and Outlaw. If your group is actually doing the right tactic, assassination should be a little bit higher. Because if you make the dragon kind of kiss, you can hit them both with black powders and secret techniques, and also with blade flurry, and also in theory with the spatter. Maybe assassination is quite a bit lower because it doesn't have like super bursty AoE when the shades thingies spawn, so it's losing quite a bit of damage on there, but it should do decent damage in the end. And even on mythic, you have two targets, a lot of energy, a lot of power, and also decent execute on two targets is going to be quite interesting. For Sovereignty, of course, we do want to have that bosses kissing situation, so you can hit both. Then we have the Vanguard, where Sovereignty is completely useless. If you are Sovereignty on this boss, you are a cheerleader right now, and you want to stop being a cheerleader. Now, it's not like all our assassination are that much stronger, because in the kind of the mean DPS, it's not like we are super far ahead or super far behind. But all of the rogue suspects are not that good. You are likely just there to apply your poison. And if the damage is important enough, people are going to bench rogues. But if it's not important, you can just apply your debuff and kind of cruise around. Now, as you know, Crown of the Cosmos doesn't have that much data, so we are not going to look at heroic, we are going to look at normal. And here, somebody does quite well. You can bat a lot on the first phases, adds have that damage amp. You can kind of save a little bit of a dance when you know there are a lot of blobs that are going to die, and then you snap the dance into the blobs and into the boss itself. Do quite a bit. On the second phase, you can get Illyria with the ads, and then also have some damage on the shields. So you do quite well there. And then on the last phase, you have your cooldowns 2 times, at least 3 times, maybe. Very unlikely, but maybe. Being a 1.3 minutes, if you are 2 minutes assassination, maybe you get one weaker death mark, and then one death mark at the end. So you get 3 blades. If you are using a 2-minute trinket, you get 2 uses of those, and if you are using the Guidon, it's likely that you get 3 of those. And then Chimaeros, we are going to look at heroic this time. Sublety should be quite high because, as you might expect, you can pad quite a bit on that and also have decent burst for the intermission and also for the boss itself. And while he's doing his flying thing, you can also get some superchargers up. You can get 1, maybe, as the ads spawn, and then not much more. And then assassination and outlaw, they are going to rise a little bit as they get more gear, because if the fight is longer, they get a bit of power, but nothing crazy. Now, that is kind of how we are looking. And as you can see, most of the time, if we get a 3% buff, we might overtake 1 or 2 positions on most fights. So Rogue is not going to be horrible. It's going to be, as we expected, kind of mid-pack. Higher mid-pack as we get more a little bit of gear and other people don't, because we will craft the mythic weapon. And then we will kind of fall behind as with the weeks go and end up lower mid-tier, very likely. That's what I think is going to happen. And then for paladins, we are just going to be trash all the time, unless Blizzard does quite big sweeping changes, because even after the buffs, things are not going to go better. And Sublety already got nerfed. Their Killif and AoE got nerfed like 15% or something like that. We did get a little bit more single target, but it was an overall 10% nerf on the on those. So we would be, I mean, even with a 10% buff or something like that, we will still be doing more or less the same assassination or maybe feral. So it's nothing that we could do on that. Now that is everything. One thing that is kind of curious is that there are actually quite a bit of people playing Sublety on bosses. So that's cool to see. Rogue has been quite unpopular for a while. But also that's kind of the data for normal and heroic. And if we go by mythic, maybe things will change quite a bit, because I expect a lot of people play rogue, but they are not going into it that well. Also keep in mind that rogue doesn't have a lot of total parses, because let's say it's 37 with sub, and then for 4, but then specs like mage just have 120,000, and warlock also. So I think the first 4 or 5 are kind of the super ones that people play. Also, people kind of love warrior. Hunter is also kind of good, and then it comes down to the other things. So that was everything. Kind of interesting that we are going to kind of stay on that middle ground. Nothing crazy on rogue, but maybe things change. We get a little bit more buffs. Who knows? Have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video.